What is up, guys? This is the Leafs Convo podcast presented by Oakridge Ford in London, Ontario, Canada. OakridgeFord.com, 0% financing on most new Ford models right now, plus a winter tire and rim package and television sets, the whole kit and caboodle. Message me in the community section for more details. I'm Norman James along with Mike Augello. It is October 29th, 2019. The Maple Leafs set to host the Capitals at Scotiabank Arena. Michael, let's expunge the memories of last week. Let's look forward to what's coming because reinforcements are coming too. Good morning.
Good morning, Norman. Well, it's good news that Travis Dermott has been cleared and he will make his first start in the Leafs lineup since Game 7 of the Boston series last April. He's looking forward to it. He's not sure how much in game shape he is, but he's been rehabilitating a shoulder injury for about 6 months. So he's very anxious. And I think the Leafs have to be anxious to get him back in the lineup based on the fact that their defense, I actually think their defensive, core, the top six has been better overall than it was last year, but the team defense is really suffering. So anybody coming back in the lineup and increasing the level of talent is welcome.
Is adding fresh blood to this lineup the cure that ails this lineup?
I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I think it's good that he's back, and I think that only a proper evaluation of this team can be made once everybody is back and healthy. But there has to be some changes made in terms of the philosophy of this team because, and I've mentioned this before, and I think a lot of people are sort of catching on to it. When Mike Babcock talks about a team playing heavy hockey and playing tough along the boards, it's almost like he's talking about some other team because this team does not do that. He wants them to do that, but they're a skill team. They're a speed team, and they don't, I don't think, work really effectively along the boards. They don't neutralize the cycle in their own zone. They have a speed skill team that possesses the puck with their speed and with their creativity, but it's not a team that is going to muck it up. And I sometimes think that Babcock is, he's watching some other team and thinking that that's his team because this team doesn't do what I think he's looking for them to do. But I think they have to devote themselves to playing that type of hockey because in the playoffs, that's what wins. We saw it with St. Louis last year. We've seen it with the Bruins, and they've had playoff success. That's the game that wins in the postseason. And right now, the Leafs, I think, are playing this wide open, throttle, full out, offensive style and saying defense be damned. And, that's why their record is 6-5-2 after 13 games.
Yeah, and they could easily go 8-2 over their next 10 and then go 2-8 over the 10 after that. It's about positioning themselves properly for the second season, the playoffs. And if they do draw the Boston Bruins in the first round, like there's a high probability they will, they're going to have to beat them finally, or the head coach won't have a job, and we will second, third, fourth guess everything about this roster. This is the Leafs Convo podcast for Oakridge Ford, OakridgeFord.com. Just a quick one. The Capitals at Scotiabank Arena. What can the Maple Leafs do to endear themselves to the fans tonight, get some points, and make a bit of a statement against the team that does play heavy hockey?
Well, nobody's going to take Tom Wilson on head-to-head. That's the problem. And they don't have anybody on the roster that really can do that. I saw comments from Kasperi Kapanen yesterday that, they've got to fight back against teams trying to take out their big players or be intimidating.
I like that, Mike. I like to hear that because it's not even about how physical you can be to overpower your competition or the opposition. It's a state of mind. It's a mentality. Enough of this crap. Yeah. Enough of this crap. We're not having it anymore.
Well, I like it too, but I want to see somebody do something about it. It's all fine and
he tries.
Yeah, but it's all fine and good. But Kasperi Kapanen is not a big tough forward. Yes, you're right. Him, Trevor Moore, a few other players up front. Andreas Janssen, who's 5'9" or 5'10". They're feisty, but there's nobody to hold a guy like Wilson accountable. And the thing is, it's ongoing this year. I mentioned on the Sunday Spectacular about, Shea Weber hitting Tavares in the first game against Montreal. Well, on Saturday, Tyson Berry got stood up by Jeff Petrie and nobody did a damn thing. It's like, you cannot let your big players get wasted by a check and just say, oh, that's great. I mean, I don't think that you can allow that to happen, because all that does is give the other team carte blanche to keep doing it.
So, OG's converts, here's a question. When our guys get bounced around and bullied, what should happen? What do you want to happen? 2 minutes to the opposition for pushing and being mean? Because they're not going to stop being physical against the Maple Leafs. What do you think should happen? And this idea that, peace will outlast aggressiveness. And if we just keep plugging along with our heads down, we will win the day. Is that what you think? Let us know inside the YouTube comment section or on the community platform. Hey, Mike, do you see our snazzy new picture with the blue hue? You and me, a couple of nothings. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what was wrong with me. I think it was the middle of the night I put that together.
Yeah, I look damn handsome, Mike, I have to say. But
yeah, you look. Yeah, I look like a guy prowling around who should be picked up, put in the back of a paddy wagon. Just a couple of comments before we go. Timberwolf, longtime listener. I don't think you are wrong, Norm. This team should and will dominate. Should it, Mike, and will it?
I think there will be stretches where offensively the stockpile of talent that they have will overwhelm other teams, sure, but it's all about consistency. It's all about being able to continue to do the same thing and repeat it and be able to win. We'll see. I mean, like I said, I thought that this team would have a little bit of a tough time early in the season because of all the changeover. The thing that, like I said, I've been puzzled by is the fact that it's the star players, it's the core group, the group that's been here that's struggled more than the new players who have come in. Now, with the return of Dermott, they're going to send somebody down to the minors today, probably Kevin Gravel. Because he doesn't have to clear waivers. And if they were going to put somebody on waivers to clear them, it would have happened yesterday. But when Zach Hyman comes back, and I think his salary is $2.5 million, they're going to have to send down at least 3 players. And I wrote about this yesterday. There's talk about them trading Nick Patan, and a guy like Martin Morinson may get sent down. A couple of the forwards might get sent down. And, if they try to sneak Dmytro Timashov back down to the Marlies, I think he'll get claimed by somebody. So that could mean Nick Shore getting sent down or Jason Spezza getting sent down. And I personally think, and this is just my belief, I have no information on this other than, but I have a feeling if they place Jason Spezza on waivers that he would retire.
What a way to go out for that guy. And for as much as I've been pro Spezza, if he's as sharp as I think he is, he had to know that it would go one way or the other. Getting into bed with Mike Babcock on his final go-round career-wise was a risky proposition to begin with. I hope it ends better, and I hope he can contribute to the Maple Leafs going forward. But at the end of the day, and the OGs know this, Michael Augello from Cheektowaga, New York, I am more for the Leafs than Leafs. And I will continue to profess and propagate and back that philosophy. As we continue this podcast, Mitch Marner with 15 points in 13 games, Mike, and it's interesting you talk about some of the new guys have made more contributions than the guys who've been here. Is that a sleepy 15 points for Mitch? He's 9th in scoring.
Yeah, I mean, he's producing, and he's making his plays, he's making his passes. I don't think he's been as energetic defensively as he was last year. I mean, maybe it's just the perception that the team is struggling more, that his performance is not as impressive because of that. I mean, I don't think many people were complaining about Mitch Marner and his point production. And if he gets 85 to 90 points this year, I don't think many people will complain. It's just the overall aspect of this team being second in the NHL in goal scoring. I think it's 46 goals, and being dead last in goals allowed with 45. You can
Yeah.
score all the goals you want. If you can't keep it out of your net, it's not going to mean a damn thing.
Yeah, there's some dysfunction and some issues going on here, Mike. And how are the Maple Leafs going to thrive and be as great as we think they can be when there's no room to move out there, when they're being bullied, when they aren't able to stand up to teams who want to physically take them down? How are the Maple Leafs going to do this? How are they going to rise above?
I think the only way they're going to dominate is by overwhelming teams with their offense. Unless, and the problem with their situation right now is because they're so tight up against the cap, they don't have a lot of flexibility. They can call players up and down from the Marlies, but I don't think we're going to see any players acquired at the deadline. So you pretty much have the team that you're going to have for this season. And unless there's a dramatic change in the performance level of some of the players that are on this team, they're going to have to rely on their ability to score to be able to win. And again, if you come up against Boston, you come up against Tampa, you come up against a couple other teams in the East, they're going to be challenged because we know that goal scoring gets really tight in April and May. And they're going to have to fight through that and be able to outscore teams. And we'll see. This is an experiment. Kyle Dubas went heavy on skill. It's not impossible that they can win with that. It's just not happened many times in the past. And we'll see what the results will be.
I love skill, but you have to have more. I do not think this team, the way it's composed right now, will reach the promised land, and that's what it's about. But the core of this team, with additions and a bit of reconciliation on the part of the head coach and management, it can get to where it wants to go. Let's just buckle up and enjoy the ride if we can. Michael, talk to you soon.
Thanks, Noah.